Today, let us talk about being awake to the present moment. Our thoughts are called Nam Rupa, name and form. The present moment is not visible to us because it is covered by thoughts. Normally, we always associate with thoughts. We use thoughts all the time for everything. When we accept and believe that there exists a thing, it means that we have accepted an arama or an object of mind. This thing or an object of mind that comes to any of our six senses is called a thought. Also an aramana to topic or an object of mind that comes to our mind is called a thought. Every moment an object of mind comes to our mind, it immediately disappears. Buddha said that Autta Sambhutang Uttvanam Bhavisati. The thought you have when you see a brick wall is different to the thought you have when you see a book. The thought you have when you see a flower changes when you look at the ground. When you turn your head around to look behind you, a thought would arise and disappear before the next thought arises. Then that thought disappears immediately and another thought arises at once. If we can see just one thought properly, it is as good as seeing all the thoughts that arise in our mind. Unfortunately, we are unable to see just one thought. Think about it. In this moment, a thought arises in your mind. Even if we think of something that happened in the past, we think about it only at this present moment. If we think about the future, we think about it only in this present moment. Therefore, we also understand that there is always only one thought at this moment. That is all there to it. As the Buddha said, Atita Nata Gameya, the past has already gone. Nappatikkanke Anagatang, Buddha said, the future has not yet come. But when we experience a thought of the past, it is a thought that has arisen at the present moment. Isn't it so? We can't experience nothing except the thought at this present moment. Isn't it? So, there is nothing except for the thought you have at this present moment. Isn't it? Now you know that except for a thought at this present moment, there is no other thought. Nothing else exists. What we are trying to see is to see the one thought that arises in this moment. later, you would realize that even a thought does not exist and that it is also an illusion. Let us look at an example. To understand what a thought is, let us say that we see a brick wall in front of us, then the thought is of the brick wall. The object of mind is the brick wall. Chakku viññāna, or the consciousness of seeing process, is actually a thought. For example, the thought of a book. If the process of seeing is only a thought, then does a book exist outside? Let's inspect how the thought of a book was created at the first place. The shape and name of a book was introduced to us or taught to us when we were kids. When we went to the kindergarten or Montessori, they taught us colors like red, blue, and yellow. Then we learn that when this shape appears in front of us, we make this particular sound and we call it a book. Now, do you understand that a book is a thought that we have created from conventions that really don't exist, really don't excite? A thought does not have a shape or a sound, but we have come to believe that it exists outside. Therefore, the object of the mind of a book that you experience now is actually a thought. It is a thought that was created in our mind. The book does not exist outside, isn't it so? Now, you understand that what is created in our thought, we believe outside. That is exactly our illusion. We are being tricked by this process. We believe that the viññāna that calls it a book is there for us to see outside, that it excites outside for real. What do you think that it really comes from outside is a perception or a signal. It is only a thought. This perception or signal, in other words, this thought is what we assume as a book. When the shape comes to the eye, the recognition of it as a book. The shape is also only a thought. Buddha said, Chattarocha Mahabhutana Chatunancha Mahabhutana Upadaya Rupang Vadet. Buddha also said, Rupantiko also Rupang Vadet. This means that the four elements that form a thing, but it is not the four elements. Rupa or form is an image that arises in mind due to a spark. This spark happens in a high speed, so it gives the impression that there is something. This spark is known as a Rupana. Buddha said, Rupang Rupattaya Sankatang Abhisankarot. This is the process that was seen, the process of seeing.